All right, we will go ahead and get started. How's everybody doing this afternoon? Looks like we got a couple of you guys in here, so welcome to the MatrixGold webinar. Hello, Laurie, Megan, how are you guys? Hope you're doing well. So this is your first time. My name is Bo. I am the Western Territory Sales Director for Gemvision, soon to be the Senior training lead. I just accepted a new position, so I will be doing all of the education for Gemvision. All right, so let's get into MatrixGold. So this is the new look, probably quite different than what you're accustomed to, Megan. So you can see we wanted to free up as much space as possible for the design area. So all of our commands were pushed to the top into these kind of scroll menus. Also, we have all the sub menus that you're accustomed to. Some of mine may not be on yours because I'm on a development build, so you might not have any of the ones that have circles by them, but those are currently being developed. So also we have panels. So a panel is just an area that I can relocate wherever I want, right? Going through the panels, I have projects right here, which is probably one of the most important ones next to dynamic commands. Projects is just going to be job bags, right? So we can type in webinar 1013. And now I have that job bag saved. I can hit the folder icon to get a larger view, and we can see all of our previous webinars, right? Also, you can do customer data right here. We can do a designer, a due date. Let's say do here, status, which is pretty cool. Job number, if you have internal job numbers here. And then anything I model, right, and save in there, I will get a view here. Or if I want a larger view, I can do this and I'll get a larger view. So we have a full save and we have a job bag. Full save will be like a save as. It'll save geometry, history, applied render materials, any specific gravity sets, pretty much anything. Job bag will just save geometry and the history accordingly. So I skipped over the quick commands because this is kind of self-explanatory, right? Quick commands, anything you can use quickly, just go back and forth. You can also edit these. Pretty much any viewport you see inside of MatrixGold is editable. So the next panel is layers, right? So I can change the layer with the arrow. I can select the layer by clicking this. I can lock the layer by hitting the lock, or I can hide the layer altogether. So it's just a way of staying organized. Should be all the same layers that you're accustomed to. And then we have the additional layers button down here. We have display modes down here. So a display mode is, it'll change your viewport to a specific look. I tend to model in the plastic viewport just because it's the easiest to view. Excuse me. We have quite a few in here, right? I utilize this one, which is X-ray, then ghosted is good. Wireframe, of course. A few of these other ones are really cool, like when you want to do unique renders, right? You can do something like this. If you want to see a rendered view, you can do this. So that is display modes. And like I said, these are all relocatable. The next thing, let me move this back down. So when you get the program, the command line will be at the top, but if you're from Matrix like I am, you're accustomed to it being up top. So you can go into the preferences under Rhino and just move it up. So now my command line is up top. We have the object snaps down here, so you can turn those on and off. We have toggles down here. We have timer down here, project name and version. You can type commands just like you did in Matrix. GV will specify all the Gemvision created commands, so those are all here. And yeah, so I know you saw the scroll right here. Are you able to import files from? Yes, you are. So I can come, if I have a matrix file, right, I can import right here, which legacy import, whenever I open the file in my viewport, I can select it, go here and legacy import, and it will import anything that it's able to. Also, I have the legacy migration wizard, which will find my matrix 9 files and import all of them at once. Yeah, it is pretty cool to, it's kind of like the old job bag system. I think it's called Project Manager in Matrix 9, if I'm not mistaken. You're able to import all of them, but here, we just do it through the main menu. Also, we have under the view, right? We have all of the panels that you can access, right? So if you want to open the render studio, you can click here and it'll open the render studio. If you want to see metal weights, right, we can open the metal weights. And then we have grams, penny weights, and then we have the stone gem report right here, which will calculate all the gems in here. All right, so I will give you guys two options. Oh, looks like we got a third. Shireen Abduman, welcome. How are you? So dynamic commands right here, right? Anytime I run a parametric command, it will open a bar over here for me to go back and obtain that history if I want. So I could, not split shank, profile place, and then it'll open one here, right? If I wanted to apply an outside curve, I could do it here. If I wanted to change profile, I could do it here, right? I can toggle auto sweep, and now I have a simple band, right? That if I wanted to edit my finger size, I could do that. If I wanted to edit my profile shape, right, I could do that. So that's how the dynamic commands panel works. So the choice I will give you guys will be, do you want to see a Fabergé egg pendant like we kind of did for the design contest? Or do you want to see a bangle? So I have two prepared, so just let me know which one you want to see and we will do that one. If this is your first webinar, right, I do a brief introduction and then I kind of get into some modeling. So Laurie wants to see the egg. All right. Megan, you want to see a Fabergé egg pendant? Sure, go with the egg. All right. So this one I've kind of been working on for some time. Will probably be implemented in our level 2 curriculum, but the way MatrixGold works, right, with the parametric history is I'm able to string together parametric history along with Rhino history. So basic Rhino history is what you're accustomed to in Matrix, where I have a curve and I extrude it, right? Any manipulation of that curve will update the extrusion. However, if I were to put gems on that surface and then update the extrusion, the gems wouldn't move, right? So that's just basic Rhino history. Whereas parametric history, if I were to get a profile, right here, and extrude that, it would then be on parametric history, but the extrusion would be Rhino history. Then I could run parametric history on top of that extrusion, like extracting an ISO curve to flow my gems, and any update would automatically update everything, right? Just because you can string together parametric history to Rhino history, back to parametric, back to Rhino. So we're going to play around with that a bit. So I want to grab just a sphere, and this is going to be our base sphere, right? I'll do something like this. Doesn't have to be a specific size. It's really just the effect that we're going for. So the next thing, I want to extract an ISO curve off of this. So again, this is a basic Rhino command, right? A sphere. And then this is a parametric command. So I want to do something like this. I'll extract the ISO curve at an angle. So we can do something like this. And just to show you guys, if I were to edit my surface, that object will automatically update that curve. So let's do this, right? So once I'm here, I now have a curve, right, that I can profile place. So under my tools, I'll go to profile placer and try that again. Bring him all the way up. Let's turn him like this. And I'll get my number 2. Reduce the size like this. So now you'll see the new profile placer. On my curve, I have a little dot, right? So anywhere I click, it will add a profile for me. So I want to come down here and add one here, and then just rotate him down. Holding shift, he will snap. 1.4, so let's go to 1.5. There we go. Okay, so now I have a curve, and I don't need this anymore, so I can change him to my gray and just hide him. So from here, I can do a sweep. Something like this, and extend it just a bit. Let's extract a ISO curve from this to flow our gems. So extract the ISO curve. Put it at 0.5, which is half. And once I'm good, I can right click. Now I need to select my curve. And we can gem on curve. Right, so now let's pull him down. I want to relate these stones to my sweep, so I can add a target object. Select right here and reduce the size to about 1 millimeter. Put him about there, and then pull this guy all the way down. I need to open up my spacing just a bit, so let's go to 0.2. About right there. Okay, so I can pull, this needs to come down a bit more too. There we go. So right click to accept my command, and now I have my gems. my surface. So I can do a prong place right here, which will put my prongs. I can adjust these. They look pretty good though. So right click, and last thing, do a channel cut. Let's extend it. Let's change it to a flat. And we can taper it up. Let's make sure he's not too deep, so I can go to wireframe. It's a little deep, so let's pick up. Then let's come back down with our taper. All right, so now I can right click. And the last thing we need to do is a Boolean. So I'll Boolean difference. And there we go. Okay, so I can right click now. So I am making a kind of Fabergé egg ornate kind of pendant look. So what I want to do is select all these things right here, and I want to array them. So let's go around the top. So right now it's arraying this way, right? Around this green axis. I want to change that to my Z axis like this, right? So now we can do a couple things. Now we can increase the count if we wanted. We can decrease the count. So I want to go to about 5 or 6. Make sure our bottom is good. Yeah, I think that's good. Okay, so just to show you guys where we're going with this, once I accept, make sure my recorded history is on, so I did it correctly. So now this origin object, right? So I can scale it and everything should update as long as I built it correctly, which it has, right? So what this will allow me to do, right? Cage edit, bounding box. So I should be able to select this and alter the shape, and then everything will update. Okay, so one more step we can add to this now that we have our egg, right? Is I have these seams right here. If I can get them, right? That we can loft, right? So loft is a basic Rhino command. I think they might be overlapping, but let's see what our surface looks like. Yeah, that's not too bad. Right, so from here, I can do a couple things. I actually want to duplicate this edge first. That way I can chop the top. So we have dupe edge. So let's duplicate these edges and enter. And then we can trim them, right? So we can select one. like this. And then we can trim this one the same. So let's make sure we have this one. I'll put him as red and this one as red. And then we can hide this, hide this, hide this. So these are the curves, right, that I will loft together. So I can type loft. Now I should get a much better surface. All right. So now I can do a few things with this, right? I could like create UV, which is essentially like doing an auto base, right? Oops. Let's try that again. Sorry, guys. Then I can center, move it up, right? Then I can F6 to make surface under surface, make surface, right? So now what happens to this, we'll update this. And then going a step further, right? What happens to this will update the surface. But let's select this surface and put some jolly on it. Let's select a pattern that's pretty simple. I don't want anything too crazy. Let's do this and select. And then I can reduce the scale. Want them to be pretty even, so that looks pretty good. So I can right click. Let's bring our curves back. I'll select these and then we can pipe them. Dynamic pipe them rather. And let's go down to 0.25. Enter. And hide this. So now let's see if we can smart flow or flow on surface. Not auto base, smart flow, base, destination, enter. And now we need to put our objects in. Hopefully it comes out good for you guys. It's a little messy down here, but I think you guys get the picture. All right. So last thing, I can hide this because I do not need him anymore. Let's hide these because I don't need them anymore. All right. One more thing I would like to do is add a pearl under gem. Can add a pearl right here. And what I want to do is make sure it will fit between here, which it's about a 5 millimeter. And then pull him up and turn him upside down. Enter. So we can come here, add a pearl cup. Actually, let's edit this. Pull him this way. Okay, so now I can select this and we can polar array once more. I want to go around my Z axis. And let's increase the object count. And then our final step, right, will be obviously, we'd have to boolean some of these to make it producible, but actually, let's go every other one. Not fill in that much cage. Because of all the booleans, it takes a second, but once it's done, you will see. So let's go down to 3. Three should align and be every other one. There we go. Enter. And the last thing I want to do is put my bail and jump ring on it. And I can also increase this because we're going to make it producible with booleans. Enter and edit this Pearl cup, bring him down a bit like this. All right, let's go get a bail. And just pull them up. Okay, now we can go to profiles and increase the profiles. Let's go to 0.75. And let's go to 0.75. Also don't like this profile. It's kind of beefy. Let's do this one. Let's go back, increase the height and the width. And lastly, we can update our jump ring. Let's increase the diameter and go to 0. All right. So once we're good with that, we can right click and our pendant is complete. We can still come back here, edit a couple things like gem on curve. Let's edit that. It'll take a second to update just because there's a lot of history, but we can take these down. Do like that. Enter, and then everything will update to fit that. What else can we do? So the dupe edge broke. Why? I think it broke because this object was booleaned and is no longer related. Yeah, it's got to be why. Okay, let's turn this back on and see if we increase this. Sorry. What we get. Should update. So, any questions, guys? Well, I think it just updated. Let's give it a second for the remainder. But this didn't. Oh, that's because my duplicate edge broke. Let's see if I do this, if it'll snap back. So now our trim curve needs to select that one. See what I get for playing around. Regardless, pretty sure you guys understand the parametric history. But let's go back here and then we can just hide this. Let's do a quick render so you guys can see. Want to hide these and then boolean this together. Just using selection commands to select what I want, right? Like get a better look, Bo. Okay, that should be everything. And enter. So I'm bullying. Why did it break? Let's do this. Ungroup. And cell small 1.2. Let's try 1.5. Go. Put those as blue. All right, now we can Boolean union. Let's do these with our blue. Okay, I'm not doing something right. Regardless, we're almost out of time, so I want to get a render. So let's bring these back. Cutters. And go to wireframe, make sure they're good. Sorry if I'm making you guys sick. Just trying to hurry because we're almost out of time. Okay, now we can go back here. Let's hide our green. Make sure we don't see any blue. And now we can Boolean. cell small. That will save time. Yeah, selection commands are super, super important. I mean, there's so many select, you can do SEL and look at all these selection commands that you probably didn't know about, right? One thing that's helpful, like let's say you're doing a ring and so you have something like this. I'll just do it really quick. Come on. My computer's like, So let's say you have something like this, right? And you have like mill grain all over it. And they're on the finger, right? Something like this. So there's a selection command. Let's go front. So cell circular, right? That will allow me to draw a circle and select things inside of that circle. Right. There we go. So that one's good. Cell closed polysurface, closed mesh, you know, those are all good for file validation. Yeah, but there's so many, not to get lost, but yeah, let's go back to our pendant, and I was bullying, so let's show our cutters one more time. Let's, those are individual now. Cell small 1.5. Deselect these. Why is it not deselecting? Let's hide. Okay. Now we can Boolean difference. Cell small. Enter. Oh, come on. My computer is hurting. Cell small. Enter. Right click. Gems cutters. Oh no. That's why my gems are being selected too. It was like, why you want me to Boolean your gems? Right. Boolean difference with those. Let's see if that works. So it's Boolean each individual prong set, so it does take a sec. Hey, there we go. All right, so now I can show. Bring these back and do a render. Let's apply this. Let's grab our green and I will do I mean, ideally I would put some, some type of filigree. Well, where did my filigree go? Let's do our rose. I'll select stones, apply some diamonds, and then gem, let's do a pearl pink. Ground plane is our last one, and we can do shiny car paint. So if you want to check it out, right, you can always come here to ray traced. Let's go to render materials and we can turn all of our diamonds on. So I need to get some light to that pearl. Let's go back to plastic. Let's go to lights. Let's see if the point light would do. Put them down here. Might be too bright. But let's see. It's not too bad. I think you guys get the picture. So let's choose and do a render. So once I'm here, I can turn on my denoiser to speed things up. It's a lot of new things, right, Megan? Don't be overwhelmed though. It's all learnable. Trust me. There he is. You're excited. Good. So this, yeah, I probably wouldn't have used that point light in retrospect, but we're out of time. So yeah, that is parametric history and matrix gold. So I appreciate you guys for joining. Laurie, I will be in touch and don't be scared. Super simple. It's really, you can mess up and people really don't see it too much. So I messed up like 12 times today. So yeah, that is our render. All right, guys. Well, I certainly appreciate you all for joining. Sorry, it kind of took a bit longer, but yeah, these webinars are every Wednesday. So if you guys want to join, Megan, where are you located? You don't just a state or country. Texas. Oh, good. You're my territory. Did you want me to reach out? Awesome. Good. All right. Well, I will give you a call later on, but yeah, I appreciate you for joining, and Laurie, talk soon. Thanks, everyone.